3, 2, 1, click. This is Date With Us, a dating sim podcast where two lover girls, me, Kanisha,
and me, Claire,
date, mate, and rate cyber sweeties because every gamer needs a little love in their saves.
We're inviting you to join us for our digital debriefs about our pixelized paramours. Whether they're in visual novels, roguelites, or funky indie darlings, we'll dish on who we're romancing and if our choices really mattered.
It doesn't matter if you're here to get love, lust, or just the bus.
You'll get to know at least one worthwhile person. Yourself.
So, light some candles,
partake in a vice of your choosing,
and we'll give you the lowdown on the games to download.
I have two options for how we might do cold opens, and I want to know what you think about them or if we should switch them up or whatever. But A, I Googled questions from the dating game. And then B, I also Googled, did you ever see that 36 questions to fall in love?
Oh, don't get me started. Of course I've seen it.
So I was like, we could do those questions at the beginning of every episode, do one of those questions, or we could do like very general, like what is your star sign? Come here often. If you were an animal, what animal would you be? Like Hinge questions, basically.
No, we can start with these, and then eventually, fingers crossed, we'll run out of them. And
Hell
then
yeah.
we can move on to this. Yeah.
And by then, we'll be we'll be podcast pros. First question in the 36 questions to fall in love with anyone is, if you could invite anyone in the world to dinner, who would it be?
Hard.
And I feel like anyone in the world means alive.
I also feel that way. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was like.
On this plane right now.
In this world that is real and exists.
Okay. Do you have an answer for this already?
I don't. I'm definitely thinking.
I don't like my answer.
Yeah.
This is what I'm feeling right now, because I was thinking who I want to know what they're saying, but also who could sustain like a full dinner conversation.
Mhm.
Immediately, I just felt like I need to know what Cillian Murphy is thinking about. This dinner would have to be so intimate setting. Like I would rent a beautiful cottage somewhere, and it would have to be an involved home cooked meal. And then I just want to be just
Are
tell
you
me.
cooking?
We'll cook together.
Okay. You're cooking together.
I'll just be tell me what's on your mind. What is life? What is your attitude towards all these things? I just want to know what he's thinking about. But I'm but this.
He has a very expressive face. I like that about him.
I like that too. He's so expressive, but so much of what he's it just doesn't make it out.
Yeah.
I love that level of reservation.
Still water runs deep.
Yeah. Okay. But that's my answer for today, which I don't love, but that's who we are.
I think the answer for we're all the best we can do is only ever answer for today in this moment, and know that we may grow and change as as people. My thing is what dinner party do I want is very different than what one-on-one dinner am I looking to have?
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like I have to pick a pop culture answer as well. And I think my answer is Emily Axford, who she is one of the D&D players on Dimension 20 and Not Another D&D podcast. But also, I think if I remember right, she she recently had a milestone birthday, and I just feel handled it very well and is so cool and so well adjusted. And I feel like she has a really great balance of being a grown up, but also still having fun and whimsy in life. And I'm just she's got it going on, and I want to be friends with her. And so I'm maybe if we had the opportunity to have a dinner, this would be a person that I could actually be friends with, and I feel would get on well with.
Love that answer.
Yeah.
How can I expand this beyond this dinner?
Yes, it's very mission oriented. It's well, if I'm going to have my dream dinner, how do I get a new best friend out of it?
I love that.
Which I honestly feel you might get as well if you get Cillian to start talking. So
Always the goal. With all my dinners. Yeah.
Stoic conversation. Meeting in the flesh. Okay, so meeting in the flesh, the short description, which is all I knew before we started playing this game. The
Yeah.
short description on itch.io is a small, cozy, horror-themed dating sim. And that is all we knew going into it. This game has a PG-13 and an R rating setting that you can toggle. I personally toggled to the R-rated setting
Mhm.
because I had to know. If I'm gonna play the game, I have to know.
Which is the right way to do it.
Yeah. So the what I learned later, the full description of this game is Meeting in the Flesh is a free horror romance visual novel. You play as Vil, the resident of a strange but friendly little city, encountering various people and getting the chance to court one of 3 different monstrous suitors.
Mhm.
Though the game will include some body horror imagery, this game is romance at its core, with a focus on getting to know and growing closer to your partner. It features romantic scenes that can be toggled between a PG-13 and an R rating, and it was released on March 31st, 2019. It's available on itch.io for Mac and Windows, and the price is $0 or pay what you can. So this is a visual novel. This is a visual novel dating sim. And boy, oh boy, was it a novel. I did not realize that when we loaded into it. This yeah. I wanna know what I want
Nice.
you to, like, hit me with your initial thoughts before we dive
Um,
into, like, world lore. I know there aren't that many mechanics to speak of. You get to a certain
yes.
place with a number of choices, but it's very standard romance novel, visual novel fare.
What I was expecting, but I was not expecting what we got, but I enjoyed what we got. It was very something about the descriptions or just that they were very detailed. There's like a lot of love put into the world, really building each sentence, like making you have like very visceral reactions to like what was being described, which I thought was pretty cool. I appreciated that.
Yeah, I so both the writing and the art were so well done and
Mm.
gross. Like the
Uh,
the first experience of logging into the game, for those who don't know or haven't played yet, Kanisha and I played our first playthrough together on my Twitch stream and then like separated out and then I went on to play the 2 other endings because I needed to know. So we'll get into that when we get further into like the spoilery section. But, the thing that I thought was so well done with the density of words and the density of, like, art, because clearly they had
mhm,
put so many details into the art, I loved there was a setting that you could click to hide the text, and it would
mhm.
take away the whole wall of text and, like, the background that made the text more readable, so you could actually just, like, look at the art, and boy, oh boy, some of those art pieces they talked a little bit about, like there's a content warning for this game. They were like, "There's body horror, there's hand holding, there's cannibalism and Vore." And so we went into it like, "Oh my god." And there spoiler alert, we did get the Vore ending in our first run through, and that art is graphic, but it was pretty. Like, I loved all the colors, I loved, like, the style of the art, but I
Yeah.
was like, "I do not have a lot of experience with Vore."
That was, like, my first, like and, like, I was just like I knew I had the definition of word, and that's all I had to
Yes.
equip me for that, and I was like, "Woo." But, you know, it was pretty interesting, and I will say we might be, like, moving into a different area a little bit, but I will say, like, the getting to the ending, like, helps me and I don't know, just process, like, the entire story,
Yes.
and I just felt like there was just such a warmth. Whoa. Sorry, bumped my mic. There's just such, like, a warmth in that ending that I it just made me, like, appreciate all of the little bits and pieces of character development that I wasn't appreciating before figure out what was going on. So, that I really enjoyed.
Going into this game knowing nothing but the short description
Mm,
versus I think I would have felt very differently had I read the long game description going in because Kanisha and I definitely spent the first like 10 to 15 minutes trying to figure out if we were in like a full kind of sci-fi fictionalized world or
mhm,
if we were like cells at work osmosis Jones like in somebody's body because we were talking about like it's a very visceral world. That is such the right word because there are, like, people that are partially bugs, there's, like,
mhm,
people who are like you over the course of the whole narrative, you don't know what you even look like until the end. So you're like getting
Mm,
hints about your own character as you go. Like at first you're bipedal, but then you're like running things on both, like you're using all four of your limbs to like run very quickly because you're a delivery
mhm.
person. And like, yeah, there was the like world building lore plot in this game is wild. Like I fully was not expecting, I don't know why I wasn't expecting an entire world. I think the maybe just the title, Meeting in the Flesh, made me think it was gonna be like
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be shorter, but I'm not mad. I think maybe it could have been a little shorter.
Yeah.
I don't know. My biggest, like, world building critique is actually more of a game design critique, I feel like,
Mhm.
which is just that they you get to a certain point in the game, the way that it works is you are playing Vil, this character who is a delivery person who delivers salt because in this world most people eat salt and drink water and like that's what you need in life.
Mhm.
And so she is a salt delivery person. The structure of the game is a big eclipse event is coming up in a couple of days. You are going to go through your first normal day of delivery. You have the day before the eclipse where you have a bunch of deliveries, and then you have eclipse day.
Mhm.
So I thought once we sort of sussed out that that was the structure, I definitely thought, okay, great. I'm going to meet everyone day one, get to know everyone better day two, and then decide who I wanted to spend my eclipse with. Is that what you thought was going to happen?
Yeah, I did think that is what was gonna happen. Yeah.
So in what actually happens structurally in the game is day 2, you make a choice. And I think we didn't realize that the choice we were making we thought we were gonna make the choice to be bad at our jobs. Vil
Yeah.
is so dedicated to her job, and day 1, it's like, "Okay, here's my schedule, I gotta do it, we're going through it, we're greeting people, we're getting to know them." This is where we meet our love interests.
Mhm.
Then day 2, they wanna talk to you more, and we thought, "Okay, we'll just be bad at our jobs and talk to each one of our love interests."
Yeah,
But
all
it turns
day.
out talking to the first one did kind of commit you to that path. So I wish there
Mhm.
had been, like, a little bit more of, like, a clear, like, "Hey, doing this is gonna come at a cost of everything else." But
Yeah.
also, on replaying, I was like, "This is kind of fun because I do feel like that's how life works, where you're like, "Oh my god, I guess I made this choice even though there was
Mhm.
maybe something better later on, but I'm not gonna know what's going on at the bee store if I spent all day talking to the overlook bug."
That's very true, and I just felt like even though it came like, even though it was a bit of a surprise, I think, like, for the purpose of, I guess, just getting to know the love interest a bit better, like, it made sense, and it kept the game from being, like, too long if, you had to keep switching between storylines, so, um but, yeah, just anything that would've telegraphed it a bit more clearly.
Yeah, yeah, which I it could have been small. Also, the thing I also liked about this game, which I, again, did not realize until replaying, you can go back very easily and just go down a different path. Like, if you don't like the response that starts, it does have a very, like you just click back. It's not like, "Oh, you need to redo a whole save." So I liked that
Mhm.
a lot also, because I am the person who's like, "Oh, but I want to know as many endings as possible." Like, was
Yeah.
I right in my first impulse to pick this person? That being said, do you wanna tell the would you like to tell the people about our love interests?
Okay, yes, I would. Yestel, who works at the Overlook, he hatches out of like this very mucus filled pod to speak to you, but he's very soft spoken, has a humanoid and insect inspired appearance. Um, he's just very sweet to interact with. And then there's Bratton, who's kind of like a baton. He's kind of like, just like a giant golden retriever wolf. He's very soft and has very like, almost bratty energy, but with a heart of gold. His role is, what is it? It's like we find him in
He's
a
a salt
clearing. So
scout.
he's, like, sniffing out, like, different s salt, like
Mines?
yeah, like, places to, like, mine salt. So that's Baton. We're still learning about the political economy of this world, if you can't
Yeah.
tell.
There's definitely the world is grim. Like, the world is grim, and it contrasts nicely. I think it is, like, the cozy horror vibe of, like, the world is bad, but these people
Mhm.
care about each other, and I
Yeah.
feel like yeah, that I'm holding in a very special place in
Those
my
2
heart.
vibes together. Finally, there's Nyarg, who runs a bee shop slash honey shop where he has very friendly bees who can be like adopted or bought. He sells their honey. He is like a giant red blood clotty kind of tentacle thing with multiple mouths and eyes and limbs, and he has kind of like a gruff personality, but once you warm him up, you know then you can get to know him a little better. I think when we were streaming this, there are a lot of different responses across the crowd. Yesta lovers, Breton lovers. There's a lot of hype
There's
about
really
Nyarg.
something for there was I did feel like everybody was like, "Oh my god, Nyarg." Also notable for Nyarg is definitely a singular sort of monstrous appearance in Nyarg's, like, tentacles and mouths and stuff. Like, we didn't
Mhm.
see a lot of that particular appearance elsewhere in the game, and so I think because of that, the people in this town also, like, spread rumors and shit about him. So, like, he's
Rumors.
gruff and quiet, but it seems like as you're passing through your, like, constituents, I don't know, your patrons, your guests, your people that you're delivering things to,
Mhm.
um, your patrons, can you tell I've worked in theater? Uh, as you're passing through, you, like, hear people kind of shit talking Yarg, and you get to choose how you're gonna participate or not participate or shut that shit down, and I love the opportunity to be like, "What? How? What?" And if you decide to romance Narg and go down his ending, you find out a lot more about what those rumors came from and why they exist, which I think is really fun too.
Mhm.
But yeah, Nyarg in the chat, people were pro Nyarg, people were worried about Nyarg.
Mhm.
It unclear if it was more sinister or not. Yeah,
I'm
who
gonna
were
think best of the chat.
yeah, who I voted Yistel. I'll come out and own that. I was torn, and I was the reason I feel like why we got the Vore ending the first time with
Yeah, but there's no reason to be sad. But yeah, that
yeah,
we had alliances when we played through the first time. I was very drawn. I was between Breton and Yarg. I think I got very excited about Yarg because I got on the hype train. But I really wanted to know more about Breton. So need to play it through again so I can do the Breton ending. But that is where, I don't know, those are the paths we naturally went down. Yeah.
if you already have been listening this long, you're gonna guess we're gonna spoil a lot of the endings of this game. So if you want to play the game before you hear us talk about it, please consider playing it if spoilers bother you. So in each ending of this that you choose, people basically invite you, your love interest, if you choose to engage with them, invites you to spend your surprise day off that you have on the eclipse that your delightful boss gives you.
Yeah, the labor relations in this game are better than expected.
Yeah, a moment for the boss, who also is getting what, mercury salt for their 2 partners so that the 3 of them can have, like, a little time during the eclipse. I was like, "Okay, boss, like,
We're poly positive. Let's go.
we are polypositive and" I almost said Polly Pocket. We are polypositive and also, the salt relations in this world where it's like, we've got mercury salt, which is drugs, clearly. Honey salt, which seems more like a delicacy, like a chocolate experience type thing. Then we have
Mhm.
regular salt, then we have punishment salt. You're just going on your day, and then all of a sudden, we see these, like, silos that are filled with salt that people get thrown into if they're bad?
And if their bodies like aren't affected by salt directly, they're lashed so that they have wounds that the salt can seep into, and they, are bleeding, and that's seeping into the salt. And then this salt is harvested from the vat to be sold to people who are buying it. And it's like, I've got the sense that it was the rarest and most valuable type of salt.
Yeah.
And that was pretty like disturbing. Our character sees this, senses this, and really it starts salivating at the sight of it. So that's just something to bear in mind as part of this experience. Like, I was in pretty shocked. Like any kind of public torture for me, like make immediately back to like some very historical
Yeah.
vibes in the US especially. So I was just like, whoa. But that is part of the game. It's
Yeah,
just
this
shocking.
world is grim. It's
Yeah.
it seems like a bad place, and, like, can we also talk, like, Yistel's so all of the jobs that people have are obviously in relation to this, like I just was not expecting this. If you decide to play Meeting in the Flesh, you are signing up for some deep lore. Like, there is a huge world here, and, like, it also you can play it at face value and be like, "Haha, such shocking horror things occasionally," but it's, like, so clear that
Mhm.
they put so much work into this game,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Okay, there is a lot happening because we've got one of our love interests, Yistel, it, like, works in the Overlook, and it is, like, their responsibility to be in this flesh pod and, like, use
Mhm.
100 eyes or whatever out of an antenna to literally watch Panopticon style the city and, like, report people, and the game cues you into the idea that Yistel is perhaps not always following what protocols might dictate and is instead trying to help people who need help rather than criminalizing them, which is good. But
Mhm.
also, we did ask the question like, is Yistel a cop?
Yeah. Consideration.
Yeah. Yeah. The world is. And also, like, it's so. You get to make a choice about your relationship to the punishment salt, but
Mhm.
also, like, you don't get to make that much of a choice.
Yeah.
Like, it's clear no matter what that you are hungry for it. And even if you choose to, like, move on from the moment, you're like, Vil is drawn to watching this.
Mhm.
And I'm
And
like,
not in a way that is like shocked or disgusted, but just like,
no, neutral, even
yeah.
like scarily neutral, and then hungry, like desensitized, really.
It makes you think about your relation to the content as a player as well. Like, it's just curious. Um, Not just like the content of this game, but like the content of like what we experience. It just makes you more aware of yourself as a perceptive person. And like
Yeah.
what you're viewing in the world around you. So I don't know. It was like a very chilling moment, I think, of the game, but very interesting. Like it stands out in the mind not just because it was like shocking, but also because it generated a lot of thoughts. So something to keep in mind. There's something for everybody in this visual novel.
Yeah. I don't typically play horror games either, so, like, this was also a I was, like, scared, like, the whole time we were playing, I was, like, scared, and maybe that's because I, again, like, only had seen the short description and the content warning.
We weren't sure what we were going to witness when we open it.
We're gonna go into spoiler territory, and then we'll come back where we talk endings and feelings, and then we'll come back out of it to talk, like, did our choices really matter? How do we define success and all of that stuff? But for now, spoilers. Spoiler zone.
Woohoo.
We do you want the highlights of do you want the overview of all 3 and then we can get into it? Or should we just talk Yistel
No, you
first?
can do the overview of all three. Let's hear it, because I'm missing two,
Amazing.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. Okay, so with Yistel, which is who we went with first, they talk with you very vaguely on your busy day about the idea of like would if you needed to change yourself and things would never be the same, like would you do it if it meant like if it helped everyone but it like got like meant that your relationship with someone you love could never be the same. And we were like,
Um?
what? That's so loaded. And I feel like we really chose every like hedged statement because it was like, hey, clearly you're not telling us what you want to tell us. Could you tell me more about what the stakes are here?
Mhm.
Um, and that felt like every actual conversation I've ever had with anyone who's like trying to be like, I need to ask you a big question, but I'm not really sure how to do it.
Um, for the inquisitive minds out there, it definitely felt like we were playing detective at that moment, but I feel like we don't get I mean, he's really good at keeping us on our toes, because I feel like we did not really put together what's happening until, like, the actual conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which the actual conversation, we find out we have our day off from our cool boss for the eclipse.
Mm.
And then Yistel has left us a note that is basically like, hey, come meet up with me. I've got to talk to you. you go meet up with Yestel, you have a cute moment on the roof, and then Yestel's like, hey, so I'm a whole different species than you, which is like very normal in this world.
Mhm.
And my people have been like the overlookers for so long, but the reason why I'm not as good at it for this eclipse is because I haven't bonded. And
Mhm.
so you're like, what? And for a moment I was like, we're gonna fuck this guy. Everything's gonna be great. He's gonna be better at his job. That is incorrect. That would be incorrect.
Yeah, that
The
is not gonna
bonding
happen.
is a full, like, Steven Universe level fusion. You cannot unfuse
Mhm.
bond, except by Steven Universe level, I mean so much more horrifying because Yistel needs to consume you in order for you to complete the bond. For which we'll get into that in a minute. For Bratton, our brat hero,
King.
the furry man, Breton finds something in the woods. On the second day, Breton's like, I found something in the woods. Come look at it with me. You go with him. It's in the flesh fields, and he takes you to the flesh fields, and then there's a big hole. It's like a crater, and it's filled with this like viscous liquid fluid.
Ew.
And he tells you a story about how some of his other people in his like salt scouting circle had sent things down and done an exhibition or what are they called? Expedition. There we
Mhm.
go. To figure out what's going on in this crater because it's not like the normal salt ones. Their expedition is successful, but all that Breton gets back is a note that says, things are different here. We can't ever come back.
Whoa.
And we see Breton's like you really fall in love with his like spirit of exploration. Like he truly is the heart of a curious man. Like
Mhm.
he's like I have to go. Like I need to know and I don't know if I will ever be able to come back because my friends have indicated that I can't. And so he tells you he's going to go. Big choice that you're presented with. Ultimately, he asks you if you want to go with him or not. I did click down both to see what happens if you go with him and see what happens if you don't. If you don't, you truly do just go back to your regular life and keep delivering your salt and are like kind of sad that your friend is gone.
Aw.
If you go with him, it's full, like it is full. They go through and then they become human. Like they are in our
Oh, wow.
world. It's our world together. And it's like kind of, again, it's like this game has a lot of the juxtaposition between the harshness and cruelty of the world, whichever world you're in, and the like soft, loving kindness that is like intimacy with another person.
Mhm.
And so they become human and they like there's so much detail about like the differences in their bodies and the way that they feel and that they both feel so much physically weaker because like they both were like quadruped runners in their, and they become, they're like slight humans.
Mhm.
He's like a little blonde man, which is crazy to me.
Whoa.
With like long blonde hair. There is a really a quite lengthy sex scene between them where they like are figuring out the first time that they're intimate as humans
Mhm.
together and like what that means. And then there's like this beautiful shift of like the art has them drawn as humans and then the art and her and like Vil, you're us in our mind,
Mm.
like have that thing of like I almost forget that we're in these bodies and then you kind of still get the scene of like them being intimate in their original bodies as well.
Mhm.
So they kind of give you the best of both worlds depending on
Whoa.
what sort of intimate time you're looking for. But it kind of, it kind of breaks your heart a little because it's like they know they can never go back and there are great things about where they are now and there are sad things.
Mhm.
But like ultimately Vil being so much more well adjusted than I will ever be is like I made this choice and I chose this person and like we're going to have a life together and that's the best thing that I ever could have imagined. And it's like
Wow.
ah
That's like the that's so heartwarming.
Yeah, but, like, they, like, talk about being unhoused and, like, the kindness of
Oh.
strangers, and, like, they talk about, like, getting they're effectively undocumented, so they talk about getting, like, jobs that are cash only and trying to figure out what useful skills they have, and, like, really, truly, it, like, briefly addresses the harsh reality of what would happen if you were dropped down in a world that you have no documentation in,
Mhm.
and then but also they're like and they're in love still, and, like, that is when they are in love and are allowed to enjoy it.
That's
And I,
profound.
like, kinda needed that. I don't know. I was like,
Yeah.
getting emotional about it. And then Nyarg.
Yarg.
Nyarg. Before I get into like the very sweet story that is Nyarg, Nyarg's storyline is the one that I am absolutely positive I know where it ends for PG-13 because there is a hard turn to R.
Oh, okay. Oh, dear.
It's like, it's so the gist, you go, you rush through your day, you get all your deliveries done on the day before the eclipse, and Yarg, you get to his store. It's absolutely overrun. So many people need honey. So many people need help. And he asks you for help, which is remarkable. He doesn't normally ask for help, like very self-sufficient, independent queen Yarg. And we have time. So we stay and we help. And then we like eat a little bit. And then we decide, you know, we have like a couple moments where Nyarg has like these really expensive, like mostly honey, like biscuits that he shares with you and like makes tea. And like you sit with a bee in your lap and like
Aw.
you have like an intimate and casual conversation and like kind of start to address some of these rumors. And you know, it's a pretty normal conversation, but like starts that kind of like, is it romance? Are we friends? What's going on? And then you go home. Very normal. Day of the eclipse, you have no plans. You go, your boss gives you time off, and there is no note from anyone. From Breton, you get Breton's note to meet him in the woods, and from Yistel, you get a note. So I was fully expecting a note at that point.
Where's our note?
And it was actually so cute because Vil makes the choice to walk by Nyarg's. And like just to like wander down that street, and there's like a blood sale happening, and there's like a lot of people on the street, and it's like chaotic. And Vil makes the choice to check on Nyarg, and like because there's like a handwritten sign that says, or a tentacle written sign that says like will open later, which is very abnormal. And so like you go and you check on him, and he reveals to you like the true reasoning for some of these rumors and like this monstrousness about him. And major spoilers. I know we're in spoilers, but major spoilers. He is the type of being that at first the rumors are just that he can't eat salt and that he doesn't like salt. And so like there's something wrong with him because like someone caught him like gagging, eating some of the salt or something. But it turns out that Nyarg's type of people feed on energy and like literally he like eats happiness.
Oh.
But he feels so guilty about it. But the thing that I'm like, he actually shouldn't feel guilty because he's not siphoning it. Like he's not taking it away. Like he's not like drawing it out of people and taking it away. He's just eating the extra energy that comes off of happy people. But like there are all these horrible rumors about him because he's monstrous and all these things. And like he was so afraid of anyone knowing this about him because he didn't want people to think that his store was like a selfish place for him to like be a glutton. And so he like moved away from where he grew up where people knew this about him and moved here and like has really kept to himself and like owns the store because it does keep him fed, because it does make people happy to go and get these things and see the animals and all that stuff. And like you spend the day with Nyarg talking about this and getting to know each other better, and like and then he asks you to be his partner.
So romantic.
And like it's very cute. It's just like I'd love to getting to know you better. Like, do you want to be my partner? You go and watch the eclipse together. You hold one of his tentacles.
Cute.
And you like, and then it like has a lovely moment of like, and you're so excited to spend more time together. And like it's kind of like you know, like a moment.
Disney.
And then it goes to the next slide, and it is hardcore tentacle porn on the next slide.
Really?
And it is a graphic sex scene with Nyarg. And let me say, if you're into it, you'll be into it. Like, I think it's really, like, it was well written. It's not always my cup of tea, but I find it very interesting the way that people write about, like, tentacle sexual experiences. And so it was like, because also she's in her monstrous body as well in this one, so you've got like big spine divots and like all these other things. So it's like this writer really was like, how do different species have sex with each other, and what does it mean to be intimate with someone who like maybe your body isn't the most compatible with or whatever. And yeah, so you can, fun fact, you can fuck all three of your love interests. One of them will eat you. One of them gets you turned into a human, and the other
has tentacles.
Honestly just seems good. Like Nyarg and Vil truly just like your life doesn't change at all. Like, it's still like, she's like, yeah, I'm doing my things, but like the end of every day is so much better because I get to, like, I go to his store
That's
and we
so
spend time. And like,
beautiful.
it's just so like, the other two are these like huge world changing things. And then the other one is like, and also I found a way to be
Yeah.
happy.
Oh my gosh, yay!
To be clear, the Yistil bonding that happens, like, if you do decide to do that and they eat you and you become one
Mhm.
and all of this happens, like, you are still happy. You are pleased that you made that choice. In all of the situations, you end up happy,
Mhm.
which honestly, in a horror visual novel, I was like, okay,
It's pleasant surprise, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like, I feel like really, really aggressively in the game description where it says, like, with a focus on getting to know and growing closer to your partner, I feel like that really is, like,
The
the
takeaway is, yeah.
what the game is about.
Mhm.
Any other spoilers we wanna discuss?
Pus on our eye.
We have pus. Yeah, you don't find out what Vil looks like until the end of the
It's
game,
not as
but, like,
gross
the
as you thought.
first thing.
Yeah.
No. She's, like, kinda cute. She has one eye that's, like, falling out of her head, basically, though. It's like, the reason why we had the Osmosis Jones fake out is there was so much flesh, and then, like, one of the first things you learn about yourself is that you're, like, clearing pus off of your
Every
face.
morning, it sounds.
Every morning. And so we were just like, wow, we must be some kind of cell or being or something. But then all of a sudden it was extremities and spines and like what is the digitigrade legs, the
I know what
back
you're talking
legs,
about. I don't know what the word is, but I know what you
whatever the
mean.
word is. I think I prefer to know what I look like when I'm going into a dating sim game,
Yeah.
which is like maybe some of my own fucking damage that I'm like, but how do I look? But it felt important to me, and I was like, I had a more fun time on the next 2 rounds of the game once I knew more about who I
Yeah,
was.
I think that's important. And I think that is a nice little nugget of wisdom about how what dating is. It's more fun when you know who you are,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, that's Kanisha, you're so smart.
Just like, maybe we take that with us. Thanks, Claire.
Yeah, we're learning. This Date With Us is actually a dating advice show masquerading as a dating game review show.
Period.
Alright. Did our choices matter?
Perhaps too much. Just kidding. But
I feel like they either really, really mattered or
mhm.
really didn't.
Yeah.
Like, there were a couple moments where you're given a choice of, like, what are you gonna say here that kind of I don't know that those choices really change the path at all so much as, like, give you a little bit of a sense as to how you want to play Vil, but I don't think if I had to guess, which again, I didn't, like, go looking into the mechanics on this, I don't think any of the answers that you choose for, like, conversational answers that
Mhm.
aren't obviously weighty actually branch any different paths or change what people think about you.
I really doubt it.
But then those
Yeah.
big choices, it's like, no, you have 3 entirely different stories. Like, depending on which one of these love interests you choose, you're not getting the same story, and the choices that you make as Vil matter hugely to her longevity, well-being, and future.
Yeah.
Was it fun?
It's fun playing it with you. How was it playing it by
Yeah.
yourself?
I replayability, I found once I figured out how to click through the game a little bit easier and like and do save points at those like big branches because there is a lot of text in the game,
Mhm.
and I think if I was more of a sci-fi head, because the writing is good. Like, I don't think the writing is bad by any means, and like there is so much detail, but I was like, okay, this is a little dense to get from like point A to point B. So I feel like I did find myself scrubbing through a little bit more especially in Yarg's playthrough, because I was like, okay, I know a lot of this is gonna be the same, and a lot of this isn't gonna change anything. So like I want to know what happens. Like, maybe if I hadn't played the game in a year or two, it would have been a good replay value of like, wow, it's really resetting me in the world and doing these things. But the when I was playing it by myself, I spent a lot more time looking at the art, honestly. Where I would hide that text and be like, holy cow, someone really like went hard on this artwork.
Mm.
Like let me let me send you and get live on mic your reaction to some of these because
Oh
I took some
god.
screenshots. I'm sending you the still of the eclipse when you're with Nyarg
Okay.
and the hard pivot explicit photo of Vil and Yarg being intimate.
Okay. This is I will say the Eclipse art is so pretty. This is
It's
really nice.
gorgeous. I was like, "Oh my god," and, like, just the different the lighting, whoever this
Their attention
artist
to
is
light is
has
crazy.
such a firm grasp on light. Like, it's
Mhm.
so
Yeah, this is wild. The Nyarg scene. Um, there's one, I guess, limb or appendage at the top that I'm like, "Whoa." Like, this is
the,
a
like
lot.
the bag-looking one with the
Yeah,
dangly
the
thing.
drip.
I pointed to that when I was playing the game. I looked at my partner and I was like, "What is happening here?" And he was like, "That's a tip drip," which is a
I'm in
famous phrase on my
shock.
channel from frantic fan fiction, but the idea of being like, "That is a tip drip," is a lot.
I'm in shock.
Yeah.
It's 1:30
Yeah,
in
it's
the
1:30 in the
afternoon.
afternoon. And then I've also supplied you with the giant hole in the flesh field
Oh,
and Bertan's intimate scene, both as humans and
okay.
as as their monstrous forms as well.
I love Breton. Okay. Breton? Okay, whatever.
Bratton?
Bratton? Wow.
Yeah, but the art, all in all, like, so much love was put into this game. Not even just the
Yeah.
art, but, like, the writing and the art, so much love was put into this game. I feel like I have walked into someone's mind
Yeah.
in a way that I'm like, "Should I be seeing this?" Like,
Yeah.
and not in a bad way, but, like, in that it's so, like, visceral
Yeah.
and intimate.
The passion that was put into this game, that was experienced to like create these ideas, all of that like is immediately accessible while playing through. And I think like a lot of people put down visual novels because they're like they take no skill, like you just click. But like I think there is like skill and value to be gained from like a well written story that can shift so many or like that just has so many different layers to it. So I feel like this game, I would recommend playing it just because it's so wild to stumble upon. Or maybe it's not, there are creators out there creating amazing things all the
Yeah.
time that we don't know about. But it feels like just stumbling upon like a real gem of a story that has so much love and attention that you wouldn't really access otherwise. I don't know.
And it's free, and it's like, if you wanna go see like,
It's free.
also, I felt like I feel like what you say about visual novels is so true because I often, as a dating sim connoisseur, I don't always love a visual novel either because I do
Mhm.
like to game, um, not nearly as much as maybe some people, but I or not nearly as classical of a gamer, but I think, like, visual novel as a tool for reflection
Mhm.
also slept on because I feel like going through this story made me think a lot about, like, anytime you're playing somebody else, you're thinking about what you would do in their place, I feel like. Not always, but, like, there are those moments, and especially when you're confronted with choices about things like love
Yeah.
and life and limb and going through a giant flesh hole in the ground with somebody. Yeah, I was like, "Dang, okay." I This game got me thinking, even though I also at the same time went into it being like, "Ha ha ha, cozy horror Vore dating sim. What's gonna happen here?" But then I also was like, "Damn, am I thinking about life while I'm playing this?" Like,
Yeah.
I'm playing a game called Meeting in the Flesh, and I'm thinking about life?
It makes me so upset because I'm gonna misattribute this quote, but I feel like it's either Audre Lorde or like Octavia Butler who has a quote about like reading is an exercise in empathy. Like to read is to be empathetic, is to like open your mind to like the experiences of others. And I feel like playing this like in a strange way was an example of that. I mean, I think it takes a lot of skill to make other people feel that way, to like
Yes.
share an experience that may or may not be yours and then to have it resonate with others. So yeah.
Yeah, especially something as foreign as, like, this full other world, this full other person, all these other things, and to be like, "Yeah, no, I do." There are pieces of Ville that I can see like, I can make those connections to, while also being like, "Wow, what a wild world we live in."
Mm-hmm.
Alright, rapid ratings. We're gonna do we like to we here, as we're figuring out our rating system on Date With
True.
Us, we were thinking We want to know how spicy it is. We want to be able to tell you like what are you walking into here?
Period.
But we also want to know how romantic it is. We wanted to kind of split those out because they do not necessarily come together. No pun intended. And then the last one is just like our general rating about the game. Like, what did we each rate the game? And then should we do out of 5 or out of 10?
I was gonna ask you that. We can do out of 10. Where I feel like we're gonna rate a lot of games.
Yeah, I feel like out of 10 is probably good.
Yeah, let's give it some thought. I'm thinking for spiciness, how many tentacles we want to give something. Just kidding. But let's see.
I mean, I think the spice rating of this game, believe it or not, while it is not like an erotic game the entire time, there is like pretty darn explicit imagery and graphic description in this game. I would say 4 out of 5. No, wait, 8 out of 10 spice.
With our mode on, I'd come down a little bit.
Could be spicier.
I think there's some spice left on sprinkled. Perhaps the 5 out of 10 tentacles. It's pretty spicy.
5 out of 10 tentacles. Yeah. Did you see that tentacle porn? There's tentacle porn in this game.
But there's more. There's more that can be shown.
What else are we playing? Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, I will say, what did I say? I'll say 7 out of 10 spice for what? But I'm about to, depending on what games Kanisha picks for us, it's about to get shaken up.
I've seen some things in the webtoons,
oh my god. Romance ratings.
This made me like weepy. This is actually very romantic, I thought.
I feel like because I'm honestly glad I lowered the spice because I feel like it is more romantic than it is sexual.
Yeah. I would give it a fairly high romance rating.
But it also was like horrifying. So I'm like maybe 8.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 or 8.
I'll be generous and say 8 out of 10 hearts. It is pretty well.
8 out of 10 hearts. 7. No, wait. On average between us, that means 6 out of 10 tentacles and 8 out of 10 hearts. Not tentacles. Oh God. Oh God. And then just personal rating. I hate to do it to him, but I honestly think for Claire, this is maybe only like a 6.5, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's just genre-wise, not my cup of tea to like, I'm glad it is exactly as long as it is. I think if it was any longer, I would be like, this isn't a game for me. But the length that it was, I'm like, okay, this is a good game to have played, and I'm glad that I played it.
I would say the same. 5 out of 10. Definitely play it. I'm not sure about the replayability.
I played all 3 endings and it was fun, but I don't know that I will go back to it.
Right. Yeah, definitely give it a shot. 5 out of 10.
Amazing. How should we end these episodes?
Yeah, that's a good question. What do they say? We gotta say thank you.
We gotta say thank you for listening and have a plug or something. You can find me on the internet at Claire After All and Kanisha.
I'm just on the internet. Don't worry about it.
On the internet. And we will stream more of the games that we play. We've made an agreement to try to start them together and then maybe finish them separately or do some separate ones or whatever. We'll see how it goes. But you can also catch us streaming these games on my Twitch at Claire After All.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is there any ending segment or do we just be like, these are our ratings, goodbye?
I think we can just say goodbye until a segment develops naturally.
Great. Until a segment develops naturally. And from us here at Date With Us, let's do this again sometime. Bye! Date With Us is produced and co-hosted by Claire and Kanisha.
Claire does the editing, and the intro music Glimmer was composed for the show by Jason Duran.
Find us on Instagram and Blue Sky as Date With Us Podcast.
And don't forget to share, rate, or review the show.
Tell your crush about us.
We dare you!